As the title of this video suggests, that I am going to explain how to prevent an autistic meltdown. So, and and this is coming from an Aspergian, which I prefer over the term Aspie because it sounds more formal. But I was officially diagnosed with Asperger Syndrome in 2001, if I remember my medical notes correctly. But what is a meltdown? Hopefully the following two images may help explain this. And because people like me are rule-oriented, it is it is best to establish rules and to follow them, which was why I made my rule list. And like many others, such as myself, I have had, and I still have, difficulty with keeping a regular sleep schedule. So, so I made rules 1, 2, and 3 to help deal with this. Rule 1 says, to wake me up, by dipping fingers in cold water and placing them on my forehead. And this is especially useful when I have schedules that I want to keep. I get into a major meltdown when I fail to uphold these schedules. And in Rule 3 says, no caffeine after noon. Well, I tried to have no caffeine, 12 hours after I woken up. And this is hard for me to keep because my mother, she drinks a lot of caffeine. And she buys a lot of caffeinated beverages. She makes a surplus amount of coffee in the morning, which I try not to drink, not only because of its high caffeine content, but also because I have a slight intolerance to it. So I have to limit my intake of coffee per day to a half cup. And even then, I have to have a lot of milk with it. And so I tend to be more of a tea drinker. But I guess I drink tea more than coffee. Not only because I have a higher tolerance for it, but so because I see it, like a morning ritual. And herbal teas are more expensive than caffeinated ones, unfortunately. And so I try to limit my morning tea intake to 2 or 3 cups. However, my mother also likes to buy a lot of soft drinks, such as cola, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, and they have a lot of caffeine content. Whereas I try to abstain from soft drinks because not only because of their caffeine content, but but also because they have a lot of citric acid, like lemonade does. And when you drink a lot, it wears down the mucus lining of the esophagus, and you develop a sore throat. So if I do drink soft drinks, I prefer, you know, root beer or lemon lime or ginger ale, which usually have no caffeine to them. And I really prefer to drink, you know, sport drinks because they have a much lower sugar content to them than soft drinks do. And rule number 4 says that I must receive no less than 45 minutes of aerobic and resistance exercise per day. This is one that I have problems with because, you know, my mother likes to have the house cold, and I prefer to have the heater on when I exercise because you're more comfortable that way. Because when you're cold, your body contracts in order to conserve its endothermal heat. And sometimes I have little energy in me. So I'm thinking about having more sugar in my diet. Although that does not mean to eat a lot of junk food. But still it gives your body a surge of energy. I'm thinking about about getting a job that requires a lot of manual labor, like a landscaper, or better yet, an agriculturalist, because I grew up on a small farm, and I enjoyed the solace that I felt out in the country. And I also enjoyed the dopamine discharges that I received when I accomplished a task, like trimming trees and cutting, weeds with a pruning hook. And one of the problems that my mother and I have is our our cooking preferences, which is why I made rule number 2 that says that we are to cook separately. My mother likes sim food that is, well, she likes to make her food simple, bland, and greasy. While I like to make mine healthy, especially with a lot of vegetables, so that I get more vitamins and minerals in my diet, as well as to have a better balanced diet as well. And because I hate to see, good food go to waste. When you see all of you know, when poverty and hunger are still common in the world.